Welcome back to the channel. Today we got prisoners in Finland live in open prisons where they learn tech skills. Listen, just looking at this title was so mind blowing for someone like me who's from New York. And let me tell you something: you go to jail, you go to prison out here. It just looks like they're living a life compared to what people go through out here in the States, period. But this is a post from Insider News. Original link will be in the description. With that being said, what's smoking all my dragons, divine, righteous, almighty, great, overachieving, never slacking. And we're going to hop right into this. Here we go.
This man is serving a life sentence for murder.
I'm sorry, I'm a little body conscious, as you can see. I've gained a few pounds.
A dip in the frozen lake behind the prison is part of his regular workout routine.
No problem. It's okay. Okay, your turn.
Welcome to life in one of Finland's open prisons. There are no cell blocks here, just dormitories. Inmates come and go in their own cars.
Absolutely just insane. Obviously, I can't judge him personally. I don't know what happened. You know, people in America be innocent all the time. They'll get crucified on the media, and years down the line, oh, he was innocent. So I can't tell just because he's in there for murder. Obviously, you got to be aware of stuff like that if you're around someone like that. But at the same time, he could be innocent. But the way that they are living, mind-blowing, because you got people in the States all over, millions of people that are suffering, going through the worst for way less. Way less.
When Matti isn't at the nearby university campus, he's in his dorm room, studying for a career in tech.
Some entrepreneurship books, marketing books, user experience, all kinds of digital and IT studies.
And we have this kind of normality principle that prisoners should be treated equally, even though they are prisoners, but they should have access to same services and rights as other citizens.
In recent years, Finland has been named the happiest and safest country in the world. Citizens here enjoy generous public benefits, universal healthcare, subsidised daycare for children, and free college tuition. Promotional films like this, produced by Finland's Criminal Sanctions Agency, document how prisoners are eased back into society, with work opportunities and help from counsellors. And the incarceration rate here is one of the lowest in Europe, a quarter of what it was in 1950. In Finland, only 1 in 3 former convicts ends up back in prison. Compare that to the United States, where 2 out of 3 get locked up again within 2 years of release. A 2018 bill included sentencing reforms meant to reduce what is referred to as recidivism, but they only apply to inmates in federal custody. Just 10% of the 2.3 million people incarcerated in the US. Critics say the 2018 reforms are only a small first step and fall far short of the kind of meaningful change Finland is so proud of. The scale.
I feel like the reason so many inmates go back, end up being returning offenders is because U.S. prisons, which you'll hear so much, they pretty much teach you how to be a worse criminal when you go there. You're not actually being reformed. Whereas in Finland, listen how the lady was talking about, she believes everybody should be treated equally, and you could tell they keep those they keep those principles, and they actually act on those principles and make sure that that's a reality. Whereas in the U.S. is good at, making it look good, sending that one guy out in a suit and tie and waving and everybody, but then behind the scenes it'd be a whole bunch of skeletons in the closet. That's the U.S.
Of course, is different. Today there are fewer than 3,000 in the Finnish prison system. The number of people behind bars in the US is equal to half of Finland's total population. A reimagining of what prison looks like here started nearly 70 years ago, when this Scandinavian nation began building one of the most humane systems in the world. In some of the latest steps, Finland's Criminal Sanctions Agency is investing heavily in technology training.
The first topic is what is AI? Then the second topic, problem solving with AI.
And building a state-of-the-art smart prison for women. And even testing VR to provide an escape from the drab walls and fluorescent lighting of Turku, Finland's highest security closed prison. Mika, who is 10 years into a 15-year sentence, is walking through a 3D forest.
Kamala ottaa nuo lasit pois tiedäksä palata tähän todellisuuteen taas.
He appreciates the chance to interact with VR technology and learn the basics of working with computers.
Sanotaan lisään vielä tämän verran, että tämmöisiä vankeja, ketä on välillä käynyt vapaana ja tullut takaisin, niin on sanonut ihan suoraan, että ei siellä pärjää, niin kuin, että siellä on niin paljon erilaista tämä kaikki niin kuin tämmöiset, että kaikki on niin paljon tietokoneistettua, että olisi hyvä saada sitä oppia.
We try to educate the prisoners to use digital services in a meaningful way so that it would really help them to rehabilitate, that help them to take care of themselves and take care of their daily affairs and the kind of things, the kind of skills that you need when you reintegrate back to society.
Now Finland is investing in the infrastructure to support that readjustment. A €34 million prison that many hope will set the standard for the future. No bars, glass windows, an internet connection in every room, and small touches meant for comfort.
This is our specialty is divan. Yes.
When it opens in this fall, the brand new facility in Hämeenlinna is expected to be Europe's most high-tech women's prison. But just across the road, a reminder of the past. The old facility, built in 1972, once housed both men and women. It shut down in 2019 after years of disrepair, mould, and other reasons.
This was before toilet.
And where did they empty it?
I take this and put there. The smell was terrible.
And just a few minutes' drive away, a relic built in the 19th century and modelled on the American style of prison that is still widely in use today. Cell blocks arranged in a radial floor plan, prisoners living in solitary confinement. This one is a museum now, preserved to show just how hard prison life here used to be. For Matti, the road to reform has led him to a career that he would never have dreamed of before. He connected with Reactor, a digital agency that designs online education courses. When they heard he was participating in this story, they invited him to give some feedback on the program.
I'm eager to hear, what did you think about the first course? What was your general impression about it?
It was shown quite simply what is AI, what isn't AI. So that was really good, and kind of show that it's not about magic.
Seeing him in this meeting, it's easy to forget that Matti is still serving out his sentence for murder. In that time, he hopes to complete a university degree and start a business.
One way to get kind of employed is, of course, self-employment. So, and a lot of prisoners have already the entrepreneurial mindset.
Based on Matti's recommendations, Reactor is planning to add an entrepreneurship course to the prison curriculum.
It has enforced my trust in also this Finnish prison system, where giving chances to people like you, it's awesome.
After the meeting, Matti heads back to Louka prison, but he is excited for the future.
At the beginning of my sentence, I thought that there can only be negative things in being in prison, that basically life is over. But I think you should give people a chance. That's the most important thing.
I haven't been able.
I must admit, this video blew my mind away. See, the mindset in America is when someone goes to jail or when someone goes to prison, right? They say in America they'll say, you're innocent till proven guilty, but people don't treat you that way, and it's like when you are in there, the mindset is treat them like an animal. Treat them like an animal. I mean, just horrible stories. I mean, I seen they brought up Rikers Island in New York City. Rikers Island. There was a kid named Khalif Browder, who one night he was walking home and he was targeted and accused of something he didn't do and spent 3 years just sitting on Rikers Island where he took so much abuse that even after he got out, he ended up unaliving himself. Whole time he was innocent, he had never really truly got justice. That happens all the time. I actually wrote on my community post how when I was a teenager and I was visiting my cousins in the Bronx, there was some undercovers that hopped out on us when we were just going to the corner store and they were calling us the N word and saying all type of racial slurs and I'll put it like this: I met the devil that night, right? And they were just threatening to shoot us, if they wanted us to run, And what's crazy is if one of us would have somehow hurt one of them or did something, and they would have, did that to one of us, unalived one of us, they would have been painted as heroes. And this is something that goes all over, and it's like most of the kids, most of the people in certain neighborhoods, their development is tampered with when they go through things like that because they're seeing these people who are abusing power, creating so much hatred and so much animosity that it's tampering with their development. So as they get older, it tampers with how they see the world and how they socialize and deal with people. So when they end up going, say something does happen later on in life, you got all these people who aren't from those communities or never been through those things who just say, well, why didn't they just do this or why didn't they just listen? Because they're a seed that hasn't been watered right. So until we can start to, be more empathetic and and just start to come together, and use our hearts and start to actually like learn to water each other and give each other the proper sunlight, then we'll all start to grow the way we need to grow, right? So, and that's what Finland is practicing, nurturing each other. They're not just throwing people away. Let's treat them like animals, and and just the worst of the worst happen to them. You got COs who are literally putting money on fights, and who needed COs that should be prisoners themselves, who keep the animosity going. Right? They instigate the animosity. They instigate crimes. They send people at people, and just so much things that are just inhumane. And in America's way of thinking as well, don't go to prison. And even though I agree, don't commit crimes, but you still got to focus on like what's going on that's even creating these people to be criminals. It's not always just bad parenting. Sometimes it's just certain neighborhoods or everybody has their story. But I'm not the type to just throw them out and judge them. If they do something that's really messed up, it is what it is. They got to do what they got to do. But I like to see at least a bigger picture of what made somebody like that. If a tree grows and a tree is bent over, and I like to look at the soil and look deep into, okay, what went wrong, right? And people don't do that. They're too busy judging the tree. Well, why don't the tree just stand up straight? Well, let's go look at the soil. Let's go look at how was it planted? What happened in that process, right? So, with that being said, original link in the description. I'll be back with more soon. Much love, yeah.